Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farmville. That is a distinct possibility. We may have to do something with it. But anyway, this does actually seem to be... And then we've got 1,100 litres so far of digestate that we would then go and take and sell. So there's another 100 on top that we can just sell. This seems to be a profitable venture. I'm rather liking this. Thank you very much for everybody that told me to stop being a moron and go and make use of the BGA. We now have additional cows. We have 20 brand shiny new cows. They won't actually do anything for 12 months, but then after 12 months they will start producing milk, which is most excellent. At the moment, all they're going to do is eat food. But what we want to do first is we need to go over here and we need to take the eggs from here and we want to take them and sell them. So we have 2 pallets of eggs. I'm starting to think that if I was to do the eggs every other month, I could just load them up with a trailer. A bit easier. Rather than having to do this every single time. I don't mind doing this. It's just time consuming. Right, we'll jump that on there. I do also need to remember to pay off another 5,000 euros on our loan so that we can reduce our outgoing expenses. So the eggs and the milk each day are covering the loan repayment and also the interest that we pay on the loan as well. So we are now repaying our loan and covering all the interest. We just had... I think it was like 3,500 from eggs just then, and then we got a bit more here now for eggs. We will go to our loan, repay 5,000 there. Right, so we had 5,000 just from the eggs. I've got 6,800 litres of slurry here. I'm gonna, as I've got this thing hitched up here at the moment, I'm just gonna load up the slurry that we've got. So that makes 7,000 litres of slurry here. I'm going to run this over to the BGA and drop that in there, and then that can be processed. So 7,000 litres of slurry since we did our last delivery, and there's like another 6 hours or so before the day finishes, and we've got like 12,000 litres left, so we're definitely producing slurry faster than we can bring it over here. So then I'm going to have to make the decision, do I expand our BGA? Do I expand this bad boy out a little bit? Because there is ways to do that. I don't know if this one is like a completely sealed unit or something, but you can get bigger BGAs, or you can get there's like a mod that has like a... We've got it here, actually. It's a mod that has a... what's the word I'm looking for? Modular. It's a mod that has a modular section there. Modular BGA. I actually remembered it before I seen that bit. So we could start like building our own BGA. Although I've never used the modular BGA, so I've no idea how the thing works. But it could be an interesting exercise to try and do on this map. I don't know. It's not something I've ever done before, so it could be quite interesting trying to piece together a modular BGA if we can sell this one that we've got right here, which, let me just have a look. Can we actually sell it? Would be the first question. Is it a single... I think it is a single entity. This is a biogas plant, 99 kilowatts. I can sell it for 324,000. And production factories... Let's see if... I think this is probably a base game one. It is the base game one. It's the smallest base game one. So there is a bigger one here that we could get. This is a 250 kilowatt one, and then this one, this is over €1,000,000 to buy this. That's like 500 kilowatts. So I'm suddenly converted to the idea of using the BGA. This is all brand new territory for me, and I now have an idea for the next series. I already have an idea for. So well, I'm not going to upgrade the BGA. I'm not going to make any changes when we have surplus slurry and manure and anything else. In the future, we will, instead of like taking it to the BGA or upgrading the BGA, we'll just sell it across the road, and that will be done. I doubt I'll be spreading it on the fields this time. The next series that I've actually just literally thought about is we have a BGA. Everything focuses on the BGA. It's entirely 100% all about the BGA. And we start off with a little tiny one. I'll try and find a mod one, a really small modded one, and we will build it up from there. Probably based around having cows as well, although I've got cows right now, and I do a lot of cow stuff, and I like cows, that's why. But some of you may feel that perhaps we should venture away from cows for something with a BGA, but there will have to be silage going into it, and we'll want manure, and we'll want slurry, and I think sugar beet goes into it. I'm not so sure about doing sugar beet. But anyway, that's kind of an idea for a future series. I don't know what you think about that. That might end up being a bit dull, but we could see. There's potential for that, but I don't want to do that in this series. I don't think that this is the right series to do it. We have our own goals in this one. There's another 8,700 euros. Right, so we're not like with that. I'm ignoring what the income that I get from here, but I mean maybe I shouldn't ignore this income, because if we have this income that we take into account plus the milk and the eggs, we've actually got enough money coming in each day to repay 10,000 on our loan and still have some surplus left over. So I might start repaying 10 grand a day. Not going to at the moment, because we've only got 52,000 in the kitty, in the pot, and I kind of want to be able to get a little bit more than that later on. Now, next up, I want to check our fields, because the ones that we plant... Right. I sprayed field 5 before planting to see if it would hold off, and it didn't. That has now got a weed infestation. We won't get weeds on that one, and we won't get weeds on this one because we ploughed these. But number 4, number 1, and now obviously number 5 are infested with weeds. So we will need to do something about that. I need to plant corn. There is only one planter we've got that can do corn, and that will have to be run with this tractor. So our brand shiny new expensive drill that we've got over there is going to have to wait for a minute. We will unhitch the front weight right here. Unload that one there. And I will get this one on, and I will run down and we will start planting the corn. Now, the corn is going to be planted in the big field. I think that's field 7. And then the other 2 fields, the sunflower one is now going to be planted with corn. No, sorry, soybeans. Soybeans are going to be planted in that field. And the other one, which had soybeans in it down the bottom, that one is going to be planted with sorghum. Both of those crops can be planted with our other seed drill, the smaller seed drill, and everything else should all be tickly-boo. So let me take the cover off there and load that one all the way up. Put the cover back on. Then we will go to this one, which just doesn't like to load up fertilizer at all. Just doesn't like it. Sure, there is a way. I mean, maybe if we unfolded it, but it doesn't really matter because we got all of the fertilizer that we're going to want on the front, so it's not really going to make any difference. We are going to whiz along the road up here until we get to the sunflower field. What was sunflowers? Oh, wait a minute. No, corn is over in the big field. I thought for a moment that I'd made a horrible, horrible mistake, but no, I haven't. We want to go on round to this field right here. This is the one that we are planting with corn. You know, it would probably help if I changed it to corn. There, right, corn. Unfold. Let's turn off our beacons. get started with planting. Okay, so I'm going to do twice around at the edge of this field, and as soon as I have done that, we can go and get the other tractor and we can get started on planting the next field. What I will do is I will plant first the sorghum down in the bottom field, because that one can only be planted with the other seed drill. Then the beans will be the last thing to be planted, because the beans can be planted with this seed drill and with the other seed drill. So whichever one finishes first can get started on planting beans. And I think that's probably just a better way all round of doing it. So let's bring you over here like this. Several of you have said that once we've done our harvest, I should go along the edge of the fields over there and level them out using the leveling tools, and then use a plow and run along and redo the edges of the fields, because that's what you would do in real life. You wouldn't have the edges of your fields really rough like that. You would actually take the time and work the fields properly and make sure they were right. So you think that I should actually go and do that? I think that's a good idea, actually. So that's something that we will do once we have finished our harvest this year. We'll go along and we will dig out a little bit into the hillside all the way along, and then redefine the edges of the fields so that we don't have that kind of horrible curved bit right on the edge of everything. It's very, very fortunate that it's all quite flat. All the way along there, it's all on a level, which is going to make it a lot easier to actually do the formation of the edge of the field there. It's still going to be a little bit of work for us to do, but I don't think it's going to be a particularly heinously time-consuming task. Well, that is twice around the field, so we can leave the hired help to carry on and finish this one off while we go and get ourselves another drill, and we can get started on the last two remaining fields. Slow you down there, and off you trot. Excellent. And then, no, I don't want that one. Nope, I don't want that one. Yep, we'll go with this one. He's already all loaded up and everything ready to go, so yeah, we will put a little bit of additional fertilizer and seed into it. Load the thing right up. And we're not planting oats. The first crop that we're planting is the sorghum. That's going to be the one right down the other end. Oh, wait, I want to do that. There. Open that one. Wait. Solid. Load. Load, load, load. Alright, let me bring it over here, maybe. Load already! Why aren't you loading up? What? It's not loading. Canola, soybeans, sorghum. Right, I'm spamming the R key to load, and it's not loading. Why is this not working? Oh, there, okay, right. Now it worked. It does weird things. I don't like it when it does weird things. Do we need fuel? No, we don't. We're alright. Let's go. We need to get right down to the far end. It's not going to be much in the way of soybeans this year. Just that little tiny field right there beside us. But then we've kind of had that with most of our fields. There's been little tiny fields just to begin with. That's just the way it is for this series. The whole BGA-based series, I was just wondering, like, maybe we could do it so that the only income I have is from the BGA. There is no other income. So we... now, I'm not quite sure how we'd do that. I mean, I guess if we were to have cows, we could have no straw going into the cows, because the only way that we would get straw is if we were to grow crops, and then we would have to do something with the crops, so we would get income from them. I mean, I could have just like grow only wheat in some of the fields or something like that. That is a possibility. It seems a bit daft to try and even attempt something like that, so I'm not really sure about that one. But then it would, we would get a bit of straw to come in, and then we can use that and put that into the cows, and we get manure as well as slurry. I don't know if the BGA operates on a the principle of everything runs simultaneously and it doesn't impact the other productions, or if it runs on the principle of if you've got two of them running, they both run at half speed. I would guess the way the BGA looks like it's set out, that if you have two products going through, then they both run at half speed. So there's going to be no advantage to us putting manure in as well as slurry. At least this is my guess. This is my theory on how the BGA works, but I could easily be wrong on that one. I would need someone who has a bit more expertise on the subject to fill me in on those, because I know nothing about them. The straw bit aside, keeping cows is relatively easy and straightforward. You have the cows, you put grass or hay, or, well, we wouldn't put TMR in for them if we are not... How is that not... This is why we need to level this whole thing out. Right, this is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely and utterly ridiculous. So rather than, so not dairy cows this time, or that next time if I was to do this BGA thing, but beef cows, and just have the cows until they reach adult size cows and not do anything with them. Don't sell them, so I don't get any income from the cattle. There's no income coming in from them. The only thing we're using them for is we're putting hay into them, and we're getting slurry coming out of them. The slurry goes over to the BGA and is processed and turned into other things. We will have the sell anything container that we've already got, and we can use we can sell any digestate we get from the BGA, and then we can also, along with grass for the cows, we could grow some silage. So we grow corn in order to turn it into silage, which in turn we would stuff into the BGA. I don't know. I don't know if you think that this is any kind of a good idea or not. It'd be a little bit different to anything else we've done, and I know that several of you would like me to start trying to do things at least a little bit different to how I normally do things, just for a bit of variation, and I don't blame you. It seems like an excellent idea. And I just thought there's little point in me worrying about using the other drill to go and plant the beans, because that field hasn't been cultivated, and the only way I'm planting beans up there with that seed drill that has now just finished its job is if I cultivate the field first. So I could go and get the other seed drill. We could just finish going our twice round on here. We could take the seed drill back that we've just finished using, the planter, and then we can get the new direct seed drill that we bought, and we can use that one to do the field of beans up there, while this one carries on and finishes off this field of sorghum. I think that might actually work out. We could do that. That would work well. But anyway, that BGA idea, what do you think? Get in the comment section, have a little chat about it, tell me your thoughts. That's a future series. I have very specific goals in mind with this series, and I am going to actually achieve my goals for once. I know frequently I have not achieved the goals that I set out to go and do, although I have sometimes. I did manage to do it with the Alpine series, when I said that I wanted to do something with a tailor or whatever it was. This one, I want to pay off the loan, and all of the crops that we grow, I want 100,000 of each of them in storage. So I'm not including anything like the flour or anything like that. No extras, nothing to sort of make it more complicated than it already is. There's nothing like that. I am just... Those are the plants that we will do, the crops that we do. What are we on? We'll run 8 crops, I think, that we've got. 100,000 litres of each of those in storage, and the loan fully paid off. Once we achieve that, we have achieved what we wanted to do on this map. How we get there is entirely another matter. So obviously the BGA is a bit of extra income that allow us to buy more fields more quickly, and expand our operations with bigger machinery, which is excellent. That's exactly what we want to do. That's progress then, isn't it? So I'm going to bring you over here, and this one I am hoping will be able to, from this point, have the hired help do the job. So bring you over there and do that bit. And yes, I know that it's probably much quicker and faster and easier if I was to do this bit here for the hired help. I just want to see if it's going to be able to cope with turning around. It does seem like it can. And it will go there. Will it go to... Doesn't even need to go to the very edge of the field, which is good, so he shouldn't get stuck up against the fence up there in a little while. So we're going to take this one. I'm going to double check that we have actually planted everything. It does look like we have. Zoom in a bit, yep. Alright, that's looking pretty good. So we've got corn planted now. Right. I can take this one back to the farm. Let me turn my beacons on. I'll unhitch this seed drill, and I will get... this isn't a seed drill. I keep calling it... Well, technically it's a seed drill, but a planter. We call it a planter in game. So I will unhitch the planter, and I will get the new big direct seed drill hooked on, and I will bring that one back down here, and we will plant that small field with soybeans. Right, we can drop that one down and unhitch it. It would probably help if I reversed away from that one rather than driving straight into it. That's probably not the way to go. And then we'll bring this one over. If I try to lower this one down, I'm pretty sure this one unfolds as you try to lower it down. So we need to bring it back and then just drop it like that. That's the only way to do that, unfortunately. Then we will go over here and gather up our front weight. Bit of ballast on the front. And then we will go over here and we will get our seed drill. And this one is going to be used for planting a few beans. I am also going to... We've got oats there at the moment, so canola, soybeans. I'm also going to just stop and get a little bit of go-go juice from our go-go juice supply. Right here. Load that one up because we're down to about halfway on there, and tractors don't tend to run very well if they don't have any fuel in them. There is a whole AdBlue system that you can have in the game, so it puts AdBlue into most of the tractors, I think, that are in the game, and then you've got to put that in as well. I did consider adding it in, but mostly I don't want to. Alright, that was completely their fault. I was driving along, and then both of the cars pulled out in front of me. That was 100% their fault and not mine. Not sure how it's going to appear in a court of law, because I did a lot of bouncing then, and I don't appear to have come off too badly, whereas I'm pretty sure those cars did not fare well from that particular exercise and stupidity on their part. Right, now, we've got a massive, great big seed drill and a very, very small field. How well is this going to work? I'll bring you back here. You can go right up near to the tree. Start you up, and... Okay, that's good. It does actually go right to the back of the seed drill. That's excellent. It's going to make life a little bit easier for us. And then we go whizzing along over here like this. A 6-meter spread is excellent. This is what we want. This is the way forward when it comes to doing seed drilling. We will go as far as the edge of the field right there like that. I don't want to drive on sunflowers too much. Spoiler. And I can come back up here. So I've got a little bit of spraying that I'm going to need to do. I could do that this month, actually. We could just go and get the sprayer and run across the fields really quick. And it would work really well. Would do the job without any problems at all. But I kind of don't want to do it this month. I was thinking that we might wait until next month before we do that one. Let's bring you around here like this. So the trees along the very edges of these fields, we'll get rid of them all, and I really like this idea of reshaping the fields a little bit, going back over them, and just making the edges actually able to be planted and used, because, yeah, as has been pointed out, it's basically happened because Giants made the game slightly more realistic, because that's what everybody said they wanted, and it turns out that most people don't know what they want. Most people think they want one thing, and it turns out they don't want that thing at all. But that's just people in general. We always think we want something, and quite frequently it turns out that we don't. Have you ever heard of the expression, be careful what you wish for? Turns out that Giants said, well, that they probably did say, be careful what you wish for, and then they gave us what so many people wished for and said that they wished for, and now it turns out that actually it's more headache than it is good, and so maybe we shouldn't have wished for it after all. I would just like to say that I'm not in the camp of people that wished for more realism when it came to machinery having contact with the ground. I was quite happy with it continuing to do the planting even if the whole machine was off the ground. Like, if it was registered as down, then it should be planting. Just leave it at that. Why do we need to change things from that? And also, my main issue, right, my main complaint is in the landscaping. Yeah, the landscaping feature. This one here, the smoothing function. Now, this smoothing function was available in FS19 as well. It was a thing in FS19. Yeah. If you smoothed in FS19 here, it would have pulled the ground up. It smoothed it, both down and up. It no longer does that. It only pushes the ground down. And that is something I really, really don't like. I really hate that they made that change. I think that change was the single worst change that they made to the game. I really, really didn't like it. I cannot see how that is beneficial. It's so much more difficult to smooth stuff off. And what makes it worse is that the majority of the times when you're having issues with machinery in fields, it's not because of a lump that's sticking up in the field, which is the only bit that the smoothing function, that would level that out. Right, that's not the bit that causes the problems. The bit that causes the problems is the tip. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.